Philadelphia Fusion been looking pretty good as well, to be fair, Vicky.
Yeah, absolutely. And when I take a look at this upcoming series we're about to have, I think this is going to be a statement maker between which team is going to be number one leading the way for Impact and which team is going to be falling over to that number two spot. Hopefully, when it comes to looking at Philadelphia, that's not something they want to relive out here. So looking forward, though, the Hunters, they're looking really strong, and I'm really excited to see what they got in store for the Fusion.
Yeah, I think it's going to be more Wrecking Ball. Let's be real with ourselves here. You know what I really enjoy as well, though? I enjoy fan art and art of Carl. If people could... Carl. I said that like a very American way. Carl.
You've been here for a while now.
I have been... it feels like too long, honestly. Too long living next door to Matt, I'll tell you that right now. But you can submit your own fan art to our website to have it featured some of the time. overwatchleague.com/art-gallery. Submit your own fan art. It's pretty cool. We've seen some of it in the breaks and some of it in the intros and outros and stuff of the show. It's been really cool to see, honestly. And yeah, so let's go back to the game. Wrecking Ball is going to be the pick for Chengdu, let's be honest. And we did speak about it a little bit yesterday, Vicky, and it is a little bit sad to see Among kind of taking a back seat to Gaga because he had this Wrecking Ball and the style of Wrecking Ball that he was playing, and when no one else was really playing Wrecking Ball, it was kind of unique, it was kind of wacky, and everybody loved the Chengdu Hunters for that. But now we have Gaga coming in to the league and joining the Hunters, and, well, you can already see via the stats, like, #1 in hero damage, #2 in final blows, first in grappling claw kills. Like, this guy is absolutely crazy.
Yeah, I like the fact that you wanted to highlight Gaga there because, looking at Gaga, just the way that he's been able to perform so far within the last 2 weeks. Rookie phenomenal. He's been having a dominant week thus far, and looking at Mono, he's extremely aggressive, I feel like, when it comes to, or at least troublesome when it comes to aggressive tank play, whereas Gaga is more so that fresh face and has a different type of perspective in the game that really shows for itself within his own playstyle.
Yeah, they're also just fantastic at bringing Jinmu on and playing the Pharah, and then you also have Jimmy as well. Like, the flexibility that the Chengdu Hunters currently have in their arsenal is absurd. And there is always a question, who they're going to play first? And honestly, I'd be scared if I were Fusion right now. Chengdu Hunters, they're not there's some sort of anomaly team where you're going to see these kind of wacky strats. This is the meta that is being just played, right? But you're also having some of the best players in the world on their best roles, which is extremely scary. Jimmy on the Pharah? Yeah, nah. Leave on anything? No, I don't want to face Leave at all. And what's scary for the Fusion on top of that is that they don't have all their players with them currently. They're still running this set lineup, and they can't flex people in and out because they've had a bit of a travel issue. Of course, now you can see on your screen the Hunters starting lineup. We got Leave, Jinmu, Gaga, Elsa, Monk, and Nisha. And Monk has also been an incredible standout performer too. His Ana has been exceptional. Nisha too, his Mercy. There is so many things I could say about the Hunters, and Hex would definitely appreciate them too. Last year, Vicky, I'm sure you were watching, but Hex loved to big up the Hunters, and his penny stocks, yeah, they're on the rise.
And he invested quite smartly, if I could say so myself, especially looking at the way that Hunters have performed. I mean, the winner of this series will become the first team to qualify into the main melee. So this is more than just, bragging rights of, okay, who's the best team right now in APAC? Because I feel like that's what a lot of people are questioning when they take a look at the Fusion and Hunters. But, Panda's up right now, and I just have to give a quick shout out to that social team for the Hunters because I love the artwork that they do manage to put out there to advertise their games. But going forward, taking a look at the Fusion, though, enough about the Hunters. Carpe just hit 10K kills yesterday, actually. It was so crazy that your audio just, I blame it on Carpe. The audio it was Carpe hitting 10K right there. And looking at the Fusion, getting out of that win from yesterday, they're looking fantastic, and I'm excited to see what more they have to provide, especially against a team that's been as dominating as the Hunters.
Yeah, Carpe's 10,000th kill was my audio devices. That was
with
what
the Symmetra.
Was oh yeah, beaming them down in the circuits already. I mean, yeah, it is a little bit unfortunate that the Fusion don't have their full lineup with them, but I mean, who else would you really want? I mean, Alarm and Toby have been looking really good. Toby looking so good on the Lucio. bit of a different playstyle from Funny Astro. You want a really super aggressive Lucio, and Toby's been kind of showing that. He's been still finding a lot of boop kills, where a lot of Lucios somehow, you know, just wouldn't normally get them. He is the boop god after all. And Alarm, of course, superstar in the support role too. Is it going to match up against the Hunters? That is the big question on everybody's lips. I mean, the Fusion, they were 2-up as well without their Western players coming over too, so it has been a nice start for the Philadelphia Fusion, but Hunters are just on an absolute tear. Their only map loss, of course, is to the Valiant, actually, of all teams, which is a little bit crazy. Ilios is going to be our first map today for this series, at least, and man, this is a good dive map. A very, very good dive map. A good map to play ball. There's a lot of grappling spots, a lot of places you can boot people off as well. This just speaks to the Hunters like no poet ever could.
I like that you brought up the fact that the Hunters, the only map that they've lost has been against the Valiant.
To the Valiant!
It's so funny too, because I feel like I recall seeing Gaga making a note actually about how they were trying to have fun or something like that, and you know it ended up with the Valiant being the only team to still take a map, and then you're looking at the Shanghai Dragons, you're looking at what went down between the NYXL yesterday. Overall, I mean, they're looking strong, and the Fusion now are the next victims for the Hunters' line of sight. Now as we do go into Ilios and we're setting things up, I'm excited to see what the Fusion has been able to adjust to after watching the Hunters perform yesterday.
Yeah, let's have a little look. TP's out for the Fusion as well as the Hunters. So Jimmu on the Pharah, no big surprise there. Leave on the Sombra, also no big surprise. The hero pool for the DPS line I mentioned before is just spectacular. Toby is on the Brig, unfortunately, not gonna lie. I wish he was playing the Lucio. There's a lot of places to boot people off around the point, but the Brigitte is just so good at stopping and mitigating this dive. Believe just kind of wants to play super far up to Rascal, a little bit in trouble. Hopper's going to get hacked as well. Perfect target for Jimmu to do some damage, but Monk's already dead.
Yeah, that's a big anti-2 onto Elsa. That's actually going to boot Elsa out of the mech, and the follow-up as well. So it's going to meet themselves back into the spawn. But Carpe, here he comes, Carpe, though. We were noting Carpe earlier on, I mean, on the Tracer, being able to disrupt the piece. Rascal's unfortunately going to fall, though, after trying to tack on that extra pressure onto Jinmu. And that may be a trade that I would say would be great, considering the fact that Jinmu has just been such a threat that we've seen thus far upon the Hunter's performance. Going in, though, currently, Carpe has been able to help clear out this point. Mono gets hacked. He is trying to control this high ground to boot Elsa off, and they are trying to desperately try to control this point, but at the same time with Jinmu taking that pick off of Alarm, it's very possible here as the Hunters make their way over to control this point for the first time.
Yeah, beautiful kill there by Jinmu, just sniping away Alarm from across the map, and that is basically it. Toby can't really defend against the Pharah. That long-range rockets do a lot of splash damage, and those couple of direct hits on your shield will instantly kill it. So Alarm falling does mean the end of the point control for the Philadelphia Fusion. I mean, if you look at expectations for the Fusion, what do they want to do? Well, they want to jump on Monk time and time again, because Nisha is not going to be on top of him. He's going to be with Jinmu in the skies, trying to damage boost him, heal him, and make sure he's safe. Monk is going to be a lot more vulnerable. Leave with the EMP, though. He can make a very quick engagement in this mega health pack room, and the Barrage and Nano are coming online as well. So EMP, Nano, Barrage seems like the perfect recipe for some kills for the Hunters now. Alarm's dead again.
Taking the Alarm now falls through, does manage to pull out the Nano Boost, and Rascal gets hit with the anti. It's going to be a cleanup from the support side of the Fusion, and currently with the way that the Hunters are able to push back the rest of the Fusion, they're looking strong on this point. Now they have taken the lead, and Monk is going to be able to get rezzed right back into the action.
Yeah, look at everybody just scurrying towards Monk right now. They know Mahado's got that Primal Rage, but he does get slept, in fact. Nisha going super low, has to just duck, dip, dive, and dodge away from the incoming damage from Rascal. Leave. He did hit an EMP, but it was only on Toby last fight, but managed to take him out quick, sharp, and no rally was available. Speaking of that, he's going to activate it now in this fight to try and turn the tides of war now.
A duplicate coming in from Rascal actually duplicated Monk's Ana and got immediately booted off of it after a Leaf actually hacked him at the same time. Elsa does have that Diva Bomb and gets booped off to the side here. Can he come back? Does he have jump? I mean, he is back into the fight at least. The rest though onto Jinmu's going to keep Jinmu as a threat, and the rest of Fusion are going to be able to clean up EMP onto Hoppa and Toby. Although no follow-ups coming forward after Nisha unfortunately falls. Monk tries to keep themselves back in here, the Nano Boost, but unfortunately it's not going to be enough. enough. They do manage to flip the point once again, but 88%, that's a quite hefty lead here if you're looking at the Hunters.
Oh, that was a mad overinvestment there of ults from the Hunters. They used EMP when 3 people were dead, or 2 or 3 people were dead, and then they used the Nano onto Leave to try and keep him alive and kill somebody. There's a lot of damage mitigation. Speaking of Nanos, though, yep, Mano, Goomba Stomp, Monk, and Monk's dead. A Resurrection, at least, is going to come through, but Mano now getting chased away. Nano for a res, I'll take that any day from the Hunters.
He had to back off right there, too. He had to displace that. They had to waste out the res and keeping Monk alive here. Jinmu does have that Rocket Barrage that you were making note of earlier. Anti onto Elsa does have that Diva Bomb to go in for a quick reset. So a matter of positioning here, you currently see Elsa does have the Diva Bomb themselves, taking in a lot of that damage, is going to be able to pull the trigger on that to go in for that reset. But Mono's taking a quick nap again. Monk consistently getting Mono for that, and that's why we keep seeing Mono dive right back in. And now Alarm has gone down. Anti onto Mono. It's a matter of following up from Jinmu. He gets stuck with those bombs, but at the same time, he's still able to survive. That pocket coming forward and the Rocket Barrage to clear the point.
He gets stuck
by the Pulse Bomb. He was so close to Carpe down on the ground that Carpe just stared at him while he was doing the Rocket Barrage and cleaned them up. And at the same time, he got a 2-for-1. Took care of Leave, and now currently with the point over to overtime for Fusion currently. The Minefield's alive, and the tank lineup is trying to desperately hold on to contest this point. The Diva Bomb's going to boot them off very temporarily, but you still have Elsa that was able to get out of there in time. Wait out for the rest of the Hunters to make their way over. EMP onto both tanks, and they're actually going to get not only booted out of the mech, but Mono's going to fall through. This is going to be the opportunity right here for the Fusion to make sure they could sustain themselves. Big anti, and it's going to be a cleanup. That actually caused Elsa to fall through, and Gaga took a lot of that damage. Nisha on the Valkyrie, but it's going to be too late. It's just a matter of time before the Fusion, they take the first round.
Yeah, not bad whatsoever. Leave just came in at the final few moments there with the EMP. He was at 99. You could see almost a desperation in his eyes trying to build it up. They did manage to get the D-suit on the Diva and kill her off and kill the Monkey, but it was all for naught in the end. Alarm was super safe in the backline. Jinmu was already dead, and he did manage to nano Rascal. And Nano and Echo against tank players, yeah, that's a lot of damage. There's nothing really stopping you from going down almost instantly. Very well played by the Fusion to grasp back onto that. They did let, or Hunters did actually let the Fusion cap like halfway through that fight, and then of course is the onus on Hunters then to try and touch and recap and stop it going to OT. So a little miscontrol of the point there from the Hunters side. But as we go on to Ruins, a bit of a different look now as Carpe has got the damage boost from Toby this time, as he changes over to the Ash. Leave doing the same thing though, as Nish is going to be at his back. Nice hack onto Mano though, insta-killing him.
Interesting here too, Jinmu on the Sombra, perhaps trying to find that Carpe was a threat, but now it's Rascal on the Tracer, something we've seen before, Rascal being able to actually juggle so many characters to work within their arsenal. And overall, as they are trying to get right back onto this point, Jinmu gets taken out by Alarm, getting a quick headshot over there, and Rascal is going to be able to try to keep on this pressure into the back lines of the Hunters. Fusion right now, they're looking so strong. Not only they're building up some of that momentum, but they're forcing Hunters back. They are going to have to regroup, and this point is going to be reclaimed by the Fusion.
Yeah, I want to point out something real fast. The Philadelphia Fusion running the Sigma of all things, of course. On control, it's a little bit better because people are kind of bundling onto the point at quite rapid intervals, so you're going to be able to build up a lot more of that ult charge for the Flux. But they are, again, trying to move around as this tight-knit group of people, Alarm, Toby, Carpe, and then it's up to Rascal and Mano to kind of duck, dodge, and jump into the backline to try and kill people. Jinmu knows exactly that, and of course is trying to set up on the backlines, trying to get the hack onto Hopper, so Gaga can have a little bit of an easier engage. Oh, okay, or just kill Alarm. All right, well there you go.
The follow-up, Jinmu had planned, and Gaga said no, and it just immediately dove right in there, took it, and I love the follow-up coming in right afterwards. Essentially, they just got sandwiched out here, and the Hunters are now trying to make their way right back over the minefields and the Bob that was used by Carpe. He's still alive over to the side, and he's getting bucketed by Toby. You want to watch out. He does have that Discord on him, but he is going to back out so that way he doesn't overextend to wait out for the rest of the Fusion.
Yeah, nice dive. That's what I'm talking about. Just the hack on the Zen. You don't really need to hack the Zen, to be honest with you. Oh, big pile driver. That was a lot of ult charge. He went from 10% to 45 in a matter of seconds. And Leave clicks on Toby, so he's dead, and that's going to be a reset now for the Fusion.
Great trade right here. for Hunters, and they are going to be able to wait out for Gaga. Alarm and Toby, they do have those ultimates to work with here, though, Jaws.
Oh,
and
what?
Rascal
They
finds
died
Jinmu,
solo.
though. Wow. Yeah, going one by one, too. Essentially just tripling in, and that's not a position that you want to be in here. Although they do have the point, the Fusion, they're making their way right over with his Gravitic Flux. Alarm, though, does have the Transcendence as well as Monk to negate the Gravitic Flux that we just saw come out from Hotba. They're trying to take control over this point as they are trying to take lead here, and the Valkyrie is going to come alive from Toby to help that sustainability. The EMP, though,
hack.
finding Toby and Rascal, and they're actually going to get a follow-up from that. They're going to clean up around the Fusion, and they are going to be able to make sure that they maintain this advantage that they build up for themselves on the point.
Oh, a nice kill from Alarm onto Monk there, but I'm not sure it's actually going to matter. Leave still getting damage boosted, so Carpe has to back off. Nice EMP from Jinmu too. If worse comes to worse, you can just put Jinmu on the point and just hit the Q button. 3 people got hacked, and especially Hopper as well. You have no defensive tools, and you're such a big hitbox for the Ashes to shoot at. Your life is as good as dead as soon as you get EMP'd, or just manual hack, to be fair. 10% to go. Flux and Mines online. Hunters have so many tools in the bank, and they're just relying on this bomb from Carpe to do the work for Fusion.
Especially here that the Bob is going to have to try to attack on some of that damage, and the Gravitic Flux, though, is going to stop Carpe, get that follow. Carpe took a lot of that damage initially, but Elsa also cleans up Rascal. That's both DPS out, and Hoppa has a Discord orb on him. Both the tanks, they're so low. Alarm is trying to build into that Transcendence. His positioning is phenomenal. They're trying to be as safe as possible, but Toby goes down, and that just leaves Alarm for the sustainability. Unfortunately, it's not going to be enough. The overtime now ticking away as the Hunters, they clean up around the Fusion.
Yeah, I mean, if the Fusion won that somehow with just the Bob, I would have eaten a hat. Like, there is absolutely no way you win that. Plus, having the Sigma alive there at the very end, even if the ball gets taken down and he has mines, you can just move into a position with the Sigma if you're the Mercy player and just get the Resurrection off basically for free. Elsa could just look at the Mercy, use the Grasp to eat any of the damage. He can use the Rock for the CC if the ball flies in. Of course, then the Shield to kind of guard that res as well. Gaga got up, put Mines on the field, and that was basically as good as dead. I mean, Fusion got more kills than I expected, to be honest, but that was just kind of miracle picks and just mechanical skill that really carried them, or attempted to carry them at the very end there.
Yeah, especially since when Hunters were able to take that point, they really did push their advantage, and they essentially forced the Fusion coming in one by one, and they still found those picks coming in. You see this high ground positioning, though, to try to give in some of that sustainability over to Elsa, and as Gaga gets into position here, the Fusion, they are trying to hold on to the split attention that we are seeing. Rascal's also on the Echo, though, so something didn't take note of to try to negate Jinmu on the Pharah.
Yeah, Mano is already dead, though. I mean, an easy hack from Leave and then Elsa finishing him off. Alarm does find Gaga with a point unlocking. Fusion have to be able to touch in time. And Jinmu, double direct in the air? No, that must have been a hack, actually, because Sombra's actually in the assist feed onto Toby. But still, double direct, a little bit of extra damage from Leave. What an unbelievable long-range rocket. And that leaves your Echo just high and dry. And now Jinmu can basically do what he wants. Points unlocked, and Mano is contesting, but it should be an easy cap for Hunters now.
I'm glad you made note of that. It's even though, even if we saw Toby get hacked there, and falling, the direct hit that we saw from Jinmu, he's been able to consistently get that. And his accuracy with those rockets is just crazy. Absolutely, yeah. The fact that he's able to just track so well with those projectiles is just insane. And here you have Leave, though, on the backlines trying to find the supports, caught off guard, is able to also retell that positioning to the rest of the Hunters. Gets stunned out of that, but Leave isn't gonna fall through. Instead, Jinmu has that rocket barrage, and I'm scared right now here, Jaws, because Fusion, they're over funneled into this side room, and Jinmu is still in the high ground, but now Carpe finds him. That's the best situation that the Fusion could find themselves for. Somebody stop Carpe, though. Nisha finds that pick off of Nisha because of the fact that Nisha overcommitted to getting that res and keep Jinmu into the fight. Now, though, that sustainability for Jinmu isn't going to be online, and they may want to give this respect over to the Fusion.
Oh, man, if there's one DPS you want to nano, it's definitely Carpe. There's the EMP, though.
Oh, big EMP, though, finding 4. Rascal does go in for the duplicate to make up for Carpe's loss. Unfortunately, him falling down to the spawn. Rascal already building up that Diva mech as Echo gets those ultimates rather quickly now. But you can see the way that Rascal's just pressuring the backline. That's the priority right here, right before getting right back into the Echo form.
He can't kill
Monk. Onto Rascal. Monk, all right, I see you, but everyone's dying, and that's the split attention that you don't want to be forced with when you're getting chased down by Rascal. Skull. Not only did some of the Hunters fall through, but Fusion, they made their way over, they clean up around Monk, and they have some of those ultimates to work with now.
I cannot believe he couldn't kill Monk there. That was ridiculous. He just survived for so long. He shouldn't have been there. And they gained a lot of extra percent for that too. 71% online for the Hunters at this current time. Leave, unfortunately, not really near the EMP. They're looking for this Nano Barrage again, I can imagine. Carve's near in the Deadeye to zone everything out, though. But Leaf, once more, looking for a hack on somebody. He lands on the Ana, but can the follow-up really land? High Noon in the skies. Can he get one? No, he can't! That was so close. Jimmu and Nisha just narrowly dodge out of the way of the High Noon from Carve.
That positioning, I guess something else. Jinwoo's is so absolutely the same when it comes to positioning. We saw it being able to move themselves out of that situation. But Rascal finding two here. Rascal goes down, but being able to get that good trade. Monk gets right back into the fight, prioritizing the support so that way Nisha's not left with all the duty work. But Jinwoo's going to be able to come right back in with a barrage.
Yeah, not too bad whatsoever. Leaf's taking a long time to put up towards these EMPs, mind you. Half the time he's just kind of sat invisible, waiting for these dives. Now they're barrage though, coming in. Jinwoo's looking for targets.
It's about sending a message, and Jinmu not only getting nano boosted, being around, and now pulling the trigger on the rocket barrage, just trying to control that space instead, as they are trying to make sure they pull up this advantage as far as possible. And for as long as possible, Mono's gonna fall through, and Hoppa's coming out of the spawn. Now that space is being controlled here, as Jinmu is still terrorizing these front lines up in the air with some of that support from Nisha.
God, I'm looking at Jinmu's stats right now. He almost has 40 rocket direct hits, almost 10k damage per 10-2. This guy's absolutely nuts on the Pharah. And now with 95% of building up, leave with the EP as well. Fusion got Arda till battle.
Now coming in, Hoppa does have that Diva Bomb coming alive to go in for that reset. The overtime is on board. They need to stay on this point. Here comes the Fusion with the EMP, finding three, finding both the supports too. At the same time, that's Carver going down, but Hoppa onto the side, and followed up by Mono, being able to find Mike. That's huge here, but Nisha at least has about with a big ante onto Jinmu. This allows the Fusion to take his control over the point, and also make sure that overtime isn't so much of a threat.
Yeah, actually unbelievable from Hoppa, right? Give me flashbacks of the first homestand in 2020 when he was playing for New York Excelsior. That self-destructing two people right there just negated anything that Lee could do. He got 3-man and EMP and on both the supports as well, and no one could follow up. That bot was just stupendous. Overtime's nearing as well. Fusion here, they have High Noon. No. A High Noon Deadeye Nano. You know I don't need a Deadeye Nano. Oh my word, Nisha was not long for this.
And a quick nap too. Gaga and easy. Sleeping with the fish or like it. And now going on to the point. Fusion here looking fantastic. This situation, especially taking out here. Misha first there was a big that still stunned Mono though. I'm trying to take some cover the rocket. He's gone. That's sleeping. Oh Lord, my God, you and that was absolutely humongous. Now we're gonna get a follow, and they're cleaning up the point around the Hunters. This is no surprise to see right now, John. Between a series like this, to state who is going to be the best team in the APAC region overall, Fusion, they take the first map of the series.
Oh my word, at the end there, Jinmu's like, I gotta do this with the barrage, man. He's right on top of the well. He's just leaning on. Thank you very much. There's alarm. That was insane. And the big turning point was the Hoppa 2K with the self-destruct run, and then they follow up an extra kill as well. Leave EMP, that was the tool that they had to win. They managed to find two supports in the backline. EMP, so they can't relax out. They can't use the shield, they can't use the nade or the sleep. That's the perfect time for tanks to jump in and just assassinate them. But time already brought the EMP, Hoppa already to the self-destruct. It was the perfect recipe for success for Fusion. Oh boy, we have a series on our hands. We'll break, don't go anywhere. Number 2 coming up soon.
The Overwatch is brought to you by T-Mobile, America's largest fastest 5G network. Set your sights on the competition with T-Mobile. The Awards League is brought to you by Coca-Cola, the official refreshment of the Awards League, and by IBM, the official cloud and AI partner of the Awards League.
You are making mincemeat of the opposition. This was what we were promised when this guy was joining the league.
Perfect stuff from Bloody Astro.
That is filthy.
It's a sticky bomb. Great stuff from Shockwave.
As Rascal takes it hard.
Welcome back, everybody, to the Chengdu Hunters versus the Philadelphia Fusion. Currently, though, this is going to be a series in the books, though, Jazz, because Fusion, they're up 1-0 within the series thus far, but sound the alarms. What a way to make a statement at the very end of Well.
Yeah, that looks, that was a crazy set of maps. Unbelievable. So many small little plays. A lot of highlights as well. I'm sure a lot of those will be posted on social media for the next couple of weeks. That is most definite, especially Alarm. It's nice little sleep on Jinmu at the very end to sink him right down the pit as he was barraging. Hotball with the self-destruct as well. And even Leave, of course, getting big EMPs. But it was Philadelphia Fusion that came out on top and now lead the series. So, Hunters, they came into today only losing one map, and that was to the Valiant the other week, and now they've lost their second of the 2021 season to Fusion. Can the Fusion keep this momentum rolling? We'll have to wait and see. We spoke very briefly on it before at the start of the series, but Hunters, they got a deep hero pool, and they got a deep bench as well. They can sub in a lot of people, so I can imagine going into the next map, we're going to see a few changes.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if we actually see Jimmy coming right back. You know, he didn't get to play too much yesterday, but, you know, if he gets to play a little bit longer today, then we'll definitely take that, especially with the Fusion already holding the lead within the series.
Yeah, it looks like Jimmy is coming in. Jinmu's taking a back seat now. And I don't know what map it is next. We'll get onto that very shortly. But, man, Chengdu Hunters, again, showing their prowess on the ball. But Philadelphia Fusion, they had a game plan in mind. And it was down to, like, small individual plays at the very end of it. Just kind of counteracting what Leave was doing. And to be honest, Leave was playing a little bit more passive than I thought he would. And potentially of what I liked either. Like, he's sitting at the back waiting for these hacks, and then of course the Wrecking Ball Gargar is just going to jump in, hopefully just follow up with some damage. But more often than not, especially on Well, he was kind of just milling around, and I want to see this ult generation of how much damage he was doing, because it wasn't quick by the slightest, and I want to know how much impact that was actually having to the... Sorry, yeah, I want to show you how much impact it was actually getting, because it didn't really seem like much. Maybe he was finding a hack then a kill, but not charging up EMP, your main tool against big, strong dive targets like Winston, like Wrecking Ball, like D.Va. One hack, yeah, it's great, but you want these EMPs to make these fights extremely definitive.
I'm actually really glad that you brought that up, because it seemed as if they were just trying to enable Jinmu in a very similar fashion that we had seen Alarm make sure that Carpe really focused down the threat that was Nisha and Jinmu, prioritizing Nisha rather with that Deadeye after getting nano boosted. That was also to save Carpe at the same time at the very end, because he was taking in a lot of damage from Jinmu, who was quite literally looking at him and trying to contest him with those direct rocket hits that we've seen time and time before. But now going on to the next map, obviously that plan for the Hunters, it didn't work out for them. Instead, though, the Fusion, I like the way that they're trying to build into having Carpe be the focus down onto Jinmu. And if Carpe makes sure that Jinmu isn't as big as a threat that we've seen Jinmu be in the past within the last 2 weeks, that is going to be really harsh on the Hunters, and they're going to have to readapt around Fusion's game plan.
Yeah, sorry for the small mistake on the little graphics there. Of course, this isn't a hybrid map. This is an escort. I think there were a couple of them were swapped around there, but I'm sure we'll get that sorted. No worries. Looks like Philadelphia Fusion are on the defense first up now. So full hold here, or attempted full hold with the rush comp. Got Carpe on the Kree, Rascal on the Mei, and they've got Jimmy in, which means, yeah, leave Farah to start it off, and Jimmy onto the Sombra, get one hack. And who's going to sit in the skybox? Yeah, it's going to be Leave. A very, very good way of actually dislodging this full hold. Slide. I love when Divas do that. Just slide down the top, and wow, Leave dies. That was a body shot from Carpe or a headshot, and then Alarm just finishing off with the 3-shot.
Quite literally finish him, just played out right there for the Fusion, and that was a great start already holding this defense. And
I really like what Hopper's doing, by the way. I'm sorry, but
yeah,
he's permanently sticking himself to the roof, and that cooldown, every time the thrusters disappear, that cooldown is obviously engaging, right? So he's just sitting up top, sliding down, using it again, sliding down, using it again to stay up there to try and check Leave.
Yeah, aside from that, it's also splitting up some of that attention, and meanwhile, you have the rest of the Fusion cleaning up the ground from the Hunters, and this is not a great start if you're the Hunters. They're making some swaps over now, but they can't even see the light of day beyond the spawn.
Yeah, they're looking for Jimmy to find a hack and then Leave to kill them, but the problem is Leave is getting out of the spawn doors and then almost instantly dying, and now they're switching over, they're going Brawl of their own, they've had enough, but with a minute and 30 seconds almost already gone, like, this is a very big win for the Fusion because they're going to have ults online way quicker now.
Especially with this Mei. Well, it's an ice cream sandwich here, and Gaga becomes the first victim to it. The immortality is going to help keep Fusion alive. I love the falls that we're seeing, though, and that's 2 members down for the Hunters and a bunch of ultimates coming alive for the Fusion. This is not a great situation to be in, especially with the timer ticking away at 2 minutes and less than 15 seconds on board.
Yeah, this is ridiculous, because now not using any ults in that last fight, they've got ults now, so they'll win this fight, and the upcoming fight, if they only manage to use Blizzard, they're going to also be able to win. We're looking at almost near overtime before it gets around the first corner, it feels like, for Hunters, even if they do manage to control the payload. They do end up walling and using the window, and now the rest of the Hunters are going to have to scurry back to spawn. This is another like 15 seconds or so that they're going to have to regroup and wait for the window to disappear, and then formulate their engage once again.
At least, though, with Nisha on the Lucio to help build them right back in. Another double Maywalk coming alive, and this is going to be an ultimate buffet going forward. Luckily, that immortality field coming alive from Monk, though, helps keep the sustainability. I like the way they're playing this part, but you see Mono, he has the shatter. Oh, wait, the wall actually stopped him! His own wall! His own Mei wall stopped the shatter potential, and the Blizzard now came online. Rascal's like, don't worry, man, I got this. And Mono is probably not very happy about that one, especially considering he was set up for the perfect position for that shatter.
Okay, shake it off, it's fine. Get out of your head, Mono. We won the fight in the end, you know. We got Blizzard out and Rascal managed to clean on up. Alarm's almost got another window, a beat for Toby. They're going to have to beat the Blizzard, that's going to be the name of the game, but Gaga's going to go down rather quickly if they don't deal with him.
Like, yeah, top 10 enemy betrayals. And
okay,
Rascal does
dead.
fall
This
through here. Yeah, Rascal, and this is now the opportunity. Oh, but Carpe does trade that for Gaga, and that is not a trade that you want.
Actually, doesn't matter.
What? The Fusion, what are they? I cannot believe what I am seeing right now, Jaws. The way that they are actually keeping
that Blizzard was,
the Hunters
oh my
stuck.
god, they actually used Blizzard. He actually used the one tool that they needed. He used it 1v5 in a corner, and everybody else just ran away. That is not the best use of Blizzard if you are Jimmy right there. I mean, I guess they get a little bit of space, yes, because the rest of the Fusion were having to chase him in that small corner, but look at the pacing now.
Oh, that was a great shutdown right there, but Leave actually paid for that. I mean, was it worth it? They stopped Carpe's Deadeye. They were trying to put Carpe in position with the speed boost, but now Carpe, he's still in this fight. Meanwhile, Leave hasn't even been able to build up this Deadeye. They're trying to control this corner, giving some of that extra space over to the Hunters, but now with overtime on board here, Joss, this is going to be a do or die. The Shatter coming in
shatter.
and being able to find it because of the fact he elevated himself. A Shatter for a Shatter, though, that does find 3, but luckily the sound barrier from Toby is going to allow the rest of Fusion to stay in this fight. No one's fallen down just yet. It's just a matter of positioning, and the respect, though, Hoppa does fall through, and that's a number disadvantage already set up for the Fusion. This is finally looking great, though, for the Hunters, where they're trying to quite literally claw their way back onto this payload. They have to respect that window, though, right behind
Carpe
Lee.
just killed
They're
two in the
still
back line.
Carpe! Carpe has been able to clean up this back line, whereas you have Lee trying to put in so much of this work, and they're still finding these picks, Jaws.